The music in the club was a deafening roar of bass and strobe lights, but the coldness in your boyfriend's eyes was even louder. You had dressed up for his birthday, hoping to salvage the fading spark between you, but he hadn't looked at you once all night. Finally, in the middle of a crowded VIP booth, he stood up and laughed, a cruel, sharp sound. You really think I am staying with someone as pathetic as you? He shouted over the music, making sure his fans could hear. Look at you, Ryan. You are boring, you are needy, and frankly, you are an embarrassment. We are done. Don't call me, and don't bother coming back to my place. He dumped his drink onto the floor near your feet, the ice splashing against your shoes as his friend snickered. The humiliation burned hotter than the whiskey. You fled from the club, tears blurring your vision as you stumbled into the cold night air, feeling small and utterly discarded. You did not have anywhere else to go but your father's house. You tried to sneak in quietly, your heart hammering against your ribs, but the floorboard creaked. The light in the living room flickered on. Your father stood up there, the smell of stale beer clinging to him. He did not ask why you were crying. He did not care that your heart was broken. To him, your tears were just a sign of weakness. Late again, he growled, his voice low and dangerous. And look at you, shaking like a dog. I told you that boy would throw you out. You are a disgrace to this family. Dad, please, I just want to go to sleep, you whispered, backing away. But his hand was already at his waist. The sound of the leather belt sliding through the loops of his trousers was a sound you knew too well. It was the sound of your spirit being crushed. I will give you something to cry about, he hissed. The first strike caught you across the shoulder, sending you spiraling to the floor. You curled into a ball, tucking your head between your knees as the belt hissed through the air again and again. Each blow was a reminder of every cruel thing your ex had said. You did not even scream anymore. You had learned long ago that screaming only made it last longer. When he was finally tired, he grabbed you by the arm and dragged you toward the small, windowless storage room under the stairs. He threw you inside, the cold concrete floor biting into your skin. Stay in there and think about what a failure you are, he spat, slamming the door. The heavy thud of the bolt sliding into place echoed in the tiny space. You were left in total suffocating darkness, clutching your bruised ribs and wondering if the sun would ever rise again. The silence in the small locked room was heavier than the darkness. Your breath hissed every time you moved. The bruises from your father's discipline were a physical map of your broken heart. Your ex boyfriend's parting words, "You are nothing without me," played on a loop, fueling the depression that had settled into your bones. For 4 months after escaping that house, you lived like a ghost. You worked a dead end job, spoke to no one, and kept your head down. You were alive, but you were not living. One rainy evening, a video appeared on your feed. UN speech. No matter who you are, where you are from, your skin color, your gender identity, speak yourself. Kim Namjoon's voice pierced through your fog. He spoke about mistakes being the brightest stars in the constellation of one's life. For the first time, you cried, not out of pain, but out of hope. You realized that your past did not define your value. You picked up your old notebook and started writing music. You studied late into the night, learned sound engineering, and poured your trauma into melodies. Within 3 years, you were not just YN, you were one of the most sought after producers in the industry. Years later, you were staying at a luxury resort for a business conference when fate intervened. The crew of Run BTS was filming on site. Through a series of professional networking events, Big Hit Music reached out. They needed a fresh perspective for their upcoming anthology album, and your name was at the top of the list. When you walked into the meeting room, 7 pairs of eyes met yours. You were professional and poised, but inside, your heart raced. You ended up signing on as the main producer for their lead singer. While working in the studio, Taeyang becomes your shadow. He would bring you strawberry lattes at 2 a.m. and sit quietly in the corner of the booth just to watch your work. You kept your distance. Every time he smiled, you remembered your ex betrayal. Every time he stepped too close, you remembered the dark room. But Taeyang was patient. For one entire year, he did not push, he just showed up. He praised your mind, your talent, and your soul. The recording studio was usually your sanctuary, a place where the chaos of your mind transformed into structured beauty. But today, the blank screen of the mixing console felt like a gaping void. The track for Magic Shop was almost complete, yet you could not shake the feeling it was wrong, incomplete. You chewed on your lip, scrolling through waveforms, deleting and re adding the same effect. Your breathing grew shallow, a familiar tightness beginning to constrict your chest. It's not good enough. You are not good enough. The old voices, dormant for so long, whispered from the corners of the soundproofed room. A soft knock broke through your spiraling thoughts. Yuana, everything okay in here? Taeyang had speaked in his expression one of gentle concern. He held 2 cups of steaming tea. Yeah, fine, you mumbled, not looking up. You forced a hand to the mouse, clicking aimlessly. He stepped in, placing 1 cup beside your keyboard. Earl Grey, just how you liked it. You have been in here for hours. You look like you are wrestling a dragon with your mind. He chuckled softly, trying to lighten the mood. You shook your head. The knot in your stomach tightened. It's just this bridge. It needs something more. Something perfect. But I can't find it. I feel like I am hitting a wall, Tay. What if I can't do it? What if this whole album isn't what they want? He pulled up a chair beside you, leaning forward, his eyes locking with yours. His gaze was steady, calm, cutting through the static in your mind. Yuena, he said softly, his deep voice a balm. Look at me. You finally met his eyes, a terma running through you. You are one of the most brilliant producers I know. He began, his thumb gently caressing the back of your hand, a silent anchor. Do you think we would trust you with our music if we did not believe that? Do you think you would have come this far, broken through everything you told me about, if you were not incredible? You tried to pull your hand away, feeling the shame rise. But what if I mess this up? What if I fail? Everyone's relying on me. He held your hand firmly but gently, and we are relying on you to be you, not a machine that produces perfection, but the artist who feels deeply, who brings real emotion to every note. This isn't just about sound, Vian, it's about heart, and yours is overflowing with it. He looked at the screen, then back at you. Sometimes, when I get stuck on a lyric or a melody, I close my eyes. I don't think about what's right or wrong. I think about how I feel. What emotion do I want to give the listener? He took a deep breath. Forget the pressure for a second. Close your eyes. What do you want Magic Shop to feel like? What emotion do you want to wrap around someone who listens to this part? You hesitate, then surprisingly, you closed your eyes. You thought of the lyrics, the message of comfort and solace. You thought of the feeling of finding peace after struggle. Hope, you whispered, and warmth like a hug. Good, he said, his voice a soft murmur beside you. Now open your eyes. You are not trying to find perfect. You are trying to find hope and warmth. What sound feels like a hug? He gestured to the console, maybe a different synth pad or a subtle string arrangement. Don't think with your brain right now, think with your heart. You, you looked at the screen with fresh eyes. The frantic energy that had paralyzed you began to dissipate, replaced by a quiet focus. You started experimenting not with the sense of dread, but with the curiosity. You added a delicate piano lines that intervened with the existing melody, a subtle warmth spreading through the mix, then a layer of atmospheric sync that felt like soft light. Taeyang was smiling. He did not offer more suggestions, just let you work. His presence a steady by, comforting anchor. As the new elements blended, a sense of rightness, of completion washed over you. The static in your mind cleared. That's it. You breathed, a genuine smile finally gracing your lips. That's the hug. He leaned closer, his chin rested lightly on your shoulder as he listened. See, I told you, you found it. Because you did not look for perfection, you looked for you. He squeezed your hand gently, and you. One night, under the soft glow of the studio monitors, you broke. Why me, Tay? You don't know what I have been through. I am broken. My father, my ex. I am scared of the dark. You told him everything. You expected him to look at you with pity or pull away. Instead, he took your hand and kissed your knuckles. Your past is a story you survived, Brian. It's not a shadow that covers you. I don't love the girl who was locked away. I love the woman who opened the door herself. That night, you finally said yes. The news of your relationship leaked. While armies were largely sportive, a venomous voice from the past emerged. Your ex boyfriend, bitter at your success, began posting edited photos and false stories online, claiming you were a fraud and an abuser. Panic seized you. You felt like that girl in the dark room again, waiting for the blow to land. You sat in the BTS dance studio, trembling as the headline flashed on your phone. Suddenly, the door swung open. It wasn't just Taeyang, it was all seven of them, accompanied by the legal team. He thinks he can hurt you again. Taeyang's voice was uncharacteristically cold, but his eyes were soft when they landed on you. He is mistaken. Taeyang had not just sat by. He had used his sources to track the IP addresses and gather evidence of the harassment. Within 48 hours, the police arrived at your ex boyfriend's door because of the severity of the defamation and his past history of domestic issues you had documented. He was taken into custody. The world saw the truth. Taeyang posted a single photo of you working with your guitar with the caption, "My muse, my pride." The darkness was finally gone. You were not just a producer, you were not just a survivor. You were loved by the world, by a man who saw your soul, and most importantly, by yourself.